You've been trying hard to hold on to your faith, but life keeps hitting you harder than you expected. You pray, you believe, yet it still feels like everything is falling apart. So before you give up, hear me out. God hasn't let go of you, even when you feel like letting go of Him. No matter what you're going through, God sees your situation, He sees your tears, and He sees your heart. He has not forgotten you. Life can be hard. We've all been there, trying to hold on to our faith as the wind and the storms of life are just there beating us down. I've walked through this path too, trust me. Today, we're going to be looking at 7 different things to remember when life is tough, but we decide to trust God in the middle of the struggle. Jesus never said our life would be easy, but He did say to cast our burdens to Him. In Matthew 11:28 to 30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest in your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." I'll pause here for a moment just to invite you to like and subscribe for more faith-based content. One of my favorite Bible stories of all time is found in the book of Mark, chapter 5, verses 25 to 34. And it's the story of the woman with the issue of blood. This story is an example of someone that life was just beating them down. And I'll give you a little bit of background before we go into the story. So back in those days, when women were having their monthly cycle, they were considered to be unclean. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 5, verse 19, we read, "Whenever a woman has her menstrual period, she will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Anyone who touches her during this time will be unclean until the evening." In verse 25, the word says, "If a woman has a flow of blood for many days that is unrelated to her menstrual period, or if the blood continues beyond her normal period, she is ceremonially unclean, as if it were during her menstrual period. The woman will be unclean as long as the discharge continues." All right, so now knowing that, let's take a look at in the book of Mark, chapter 5, verses 25 to 34. A woman who had an issue of blood, kind of like a hemorrhage, for 12 years had endured much at the hands of many, many physicians and had spent all the money that she had and had not been helped at all. Instead, she had gotten worse. So after hearing about Jesus, she came up with a plan in her mind. She went up into the crowd behind him and touched the hem of his garment, because she thought in her mind, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, I will be made well. And immediately the flow of her blood was dried up, and she felt that her body had been healed from her affliction. Immediately following, Jesus perceived that the power had proceeded from him and gone forth, and turned around to the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments?" And his disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing against you, touching you, and you're asking, 'Who touched me?'" And then Jesus looks around again and he sees the woman who had done this. And the woman was there, like fearing and trembling, aware of what had happened to her, came and fell down at his feet and told him the whole truth. And Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." Beautiful story. So, 7 key points I want to highlight from this story that really stand out to me is: number one, life happens. The woman was sick for 12 years, dealing with something in her life that was beyond her control. She didn't ask to be sick. She didn't ask to be unclean. She didn't cause her situation. It was truly life just happening. She had no control over it. Number two, we don't have the answers. She did try to fix her situation in her own strength with what she knew. For 12 years, she had gone to all kinds of doctors and spent all the money that she had to no avail. It didn't help her condition. It had not healed her. She was worse off than before. Number three, faith increases by hearing. She heard about Jesus and her faith grew. She heard about the miracles he was doing, the places he had traveled, and she was waiting. Maybe perhaps he'll come close to her town so that way she can be healed. And she went there when he came. She went there with the healing in mind, just believing that deep down inside that she would be healed. And maybe she didn't say anything because she didn't want to face the fear of rejection, of somebody rejecting her again. She didn't want to talk to Jesus. She didn't want to be seen. Why? Well, because she was unclean. And as she was pressing upon all those people, she was making them unclean. And if they would have known that she was unclean, they would have probably prevented her from having access to Jesus and or even touching Jesus, his cloak. Um, she could have probably been beaten to death or stoned to death by all those who were angry that she was making them unclean. So, number four, faith in action. She put her faith into action. She thought to herself, if I could only touch the hem of his garment. She tried, she reached, she pushed, and then she pushed some more until she touched the hem of his garment. She was determined. Her faith was driving her. She wasn't thinking of the consequences that she may face if all the people knew that she was unclean. She had the faith that she would be healed, and she was not about to waste this opportunity uh, of getting close to Jesus and touching the hem of his garment to to get her healing. Number five, God has the answers. The power of God was her answer. When she touched Jesus' garment, the power came out of Jesus, and he felt it, but so did she. Her bleeding was instantly dried, and she was healed. No doctor was involved. She didn't pay any money. It was the incomparable power of God that healed her. Number six, declaration and confession. Jesus knew who had touched him because nothing ever catches Jesus by surprise. He was making it a point to bring it out in public what had happened in private. When she touched the hem of his garment, only he and her knew that the bleeding had stopped. He gave her a chance to confess publicly and declare her faith. He wanted her to say that it was her that had touched his garment. She could have fled. She could have hidden. She could have retreated. She was fearing and trembling, but chose to humble herself, falling down at his feet, confessing that she was unclean woman and had just made everyone around her and him unclean. She was prepared to receive the consequences of her actions. Number seven, restoration in God. Jesus had other plans. Jesus wanted her public confession to restore her publicly. Instead of scolding her in front of the multitude of people, he restored her in public with one word. Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and you will be healed from your affliction." Jesus called her daughter in public. He called her daughter, erasing 12 years of being separated from her family, 12 years of people not wanting to be near her, to hug her. He erased 12 years of rejection and of pain. He erased the label society had given her of being unclean, of being untouchable, and maybe even unlovable. He erased any of the consequences she would have faced by making all those people unclean. With one word, Jesus told her she was loved, she was accepted, she was part of the family. She was restored in public, in front of every single person, with one word. Jesus told her to go in peace, and she was never the same. Also, do you know that this is the only person in the whole entire Bible that Jesus calls daughter? From the time of her healing and restoration happening, which was recorded in the Bible, until now, in the present time that we're living in, she continues to be known as daughter. She continues to be known as loved. She continues to be known as accepted. It's time we stop trying to fix our own situation on our own and take it to Jesus. What burdens are you carrying today? Are you feeling that your faith is out of reach? Jesus is waiting for you to press through the crowd and reach out for him. You're not the only one going through this. It's your turn to put your faith into action in your own life. Jesus is with you, and with his help, you can overcome whatever life throws at you. If this video blessed you, let me know in the comments, and please share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Be blessed. Bye-bye.